Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm the CEO. And we were using Skype for Business, and now we're using Zoom Meetings. For more details, click below. In these days with the coronavirus, we're all having to do all of our work remotely, and so especially in the beginning of 2020, that became a really critical thing to be able to do effectively. And we started using Skype for Business, and it was working all right, but we had a lot of audio and video anomalies and difficulty with people connecting. So we tried out Zoom meetings, and right away, this was back in like January, February of 2020, it was just clearly much better. And whenever we use other platforms, we kind of have the same kind of problem. So whenever we have the choice ourselves at our company of what video conferencing platform we're going to use, we always choose Zoom meetings. So, what Zoom meetings is best for is anytime that you want to have a meaningful conversation with somebody and you don't have the time to kind of fly and meet in person, and you want something better than a phone call. And it's just really critical to have a seamless experience where people can just connect when they very easily without having to do a lot of prep work. And seems like everybody's using Zoom these days. I would have to say that 80% of the meetings that I attend when I don't initiate it, those are Zoom meetings as well. So other people are choosing Zoom too. So, I think Skype for Business seems to be more of a corporate fit. I noticed the companies that do use that are kind of the more structured companies, and they're larger organizations. And so, I think the Microsoft has a great reputation for security and reliability. We haven't had any sort of security or reliability issues with Zoom ourselves, but there was, some allegations of people doing Zoom bombing. When the platforms first came out, we didn't have any of those kinds of things going on with Skype. So, I think for maybe large organizations that might be a fit for Skype. So, getting started with both Skype for Business and Zoom are very different. Skype is a very kind of a simple platform that's kind of easy to get up and running and to use. What we found with Zoom is actually there's a lot more configuration ability. It's sort of like going to a deli and trying to decide what you want to have for lunch. Sometimes too many choices can be too much. So I would say that we struggled a little bit with Zoom, getting all the settings correct and whatnot. There's just so much to go through, and it was both sort of at a corporate level on your master account and then on a per user basis. And in terms of trying to have consistent settings across the whole enterprise, I would say it was more complicated with Zoom, and that wasn't the problem with Skype. And then there was a time during the Zoom bombings, if you will, where they made it mandatory. They just switched the standard configuration for everybody, where you had to either force people to wait in a waiting room and let them in one at a time, or you had to provide a password to allow people to get into your meeting. And there is a way to embed the password into the link when if you provide that to somebody, but you have to think about that in advance. So it's a little bit more cumbersome. So I'd say that onboarding with each of them is a lot simpler with Skype, but we're still very happy with Zoom, and that's our ultimate choice. So, in terms of a top consideration when we're choosing a video conferencing platform, there's really only one consideration, and that is what is the quality of the audio and the video and the reliability. Because the whole point of having these kinds of conversations instead of a phone where you're going to get like flawless audio is you want to have a more meaningful conversation, and there's nothing worse than trying to do that and having somebody cut out or have this delay and people talk over each other. So really that's the beginning and the ending of it all. Is the audio quality really good? And the audio, I would say, is more important than video. But you want that's if I wouldn't choose a cheaper solution or something that has more features or allows more participants if it didn't have a at least as good an audio. So that's sort of the beginning and the ending of the criteria that we look at.